Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel in 2014. So, here it is on Blu-ray, a rewatch tonight, and I watched this actually for the first time around about April this year. So it's it was a film that I've been looking forward to seeing for quite well since it came out. I really wanted to see it, and then I just really never got around to it, and I really wanted as well for many years to actually get into Wes Anderson films, actually watch them. I saw parts of Fantastic Mr. Fox when I was younger, and a few years ago and stuff. And yeah, I have now seen the Royal Tenenbaums, and that is on my favourite films list. And I absolutely loved that film. I think it's perfect, really. That's the one that really was a perfect Wes Anderson film that I saw. I've not seen any other ones. Really look forward to them. Because he's a very, very unique director, and he writes and directs pretty much all of his films, including this one, written and directed by Wes Anderson. It's inspired by other works, but it's written and directed by him, and it's got his signature style, and yeah, it's a bit more of a it does a bit of controversy kind of now, and it got some Oscars. Maybe that's why. Gets a bit of hate, but yes, I watched this film back in April, and yeah, I liked it, but I was a bit disappointed. I have to be honest, and I liked it. I loved the visuals, and I did love moments and certain relationships, but overall, I don't quite think I connected with it fully, and I think as well that some of the bits at the beginning just didn't work as well as they should have done in drawing me in. But I love the visuals, I love the soundtrack, the score and everything is wonderful. And it made me feel in certain moments, very, very warm. This time round, I rewatched it. I have to say, this never usually happens where I watch a film now, for the last couple of years I've been pretty much basically sure of what I think of a film when I watch it, and it can grow me a bit. It can maybe go downhill a little bit on a rewatch, but certainly not going from a film that I liked. I liked a bit, to a film I absolutely adore. Yes, it's a shocker. It really completely different film. Really, maybe I just wasn't in the in the right mindset. I don't know. It never usually happens now, really, with a film that I watch, and this is not a film that is. It's weird. It's not say a Tarkovsky or anything like that. It's easy surely to. I mean, I just basically when I was watching it, I was thinking, how did I not love it when I watched it in April? It must have just been an off day for me, because I really absolutely loved it this time, and I think it's a stunning film. And I don't think it's perfect. There's a couple of things, just one or two things that I kind of still agree with what I said the first time, but not so much, nowhere near as much. And I don't think it's perfect. I don't quite think it's a masterpiece, but it's pretty close, I must say, and I absolutely loved it. And yes, it goes into my favourite films list, my 500 favourite. It won't be a, a one that stays there forever. It probably will go off by the end of the year, maybe. Because it's near the end of that 500 favourite films. But it is on there, and films that are on there, are films that I absolutely adore. Now, this film, Wes Anderson, his style is something truly wonderful. It's very, very, very precise. You are aware that he, the way he moves the camera and everything. And maybe the first time around I was a bit, I just didn't quite, maybe I thought it was a bit too much, a bit too self-aware, but this time round, certainly not actually, and it's a completely different mood that I was in, and I actually, it was a very, very, it didn't seem, forced in anything like that, and the style is wonderful. The first time round I noticed especially the colours, the colour tone, and the different time periods that had a slightly different colour tone, which is wonderful. They're some of the best of the century, I will say that. They definitely are. Visually, this is a masterpiece. It's wonderful, and it's not just arranging a colour palette, a colour tone to complement, the colours that complement and that kind of stand out in a at times surreal way, other times naturalistic way. It really does give a a strong feeling, you know, within that, just with the colours. And of course, the way he moves the camera, is really something else. Very, very precise, and you are aware of how precise it is. And you know, just the framing is immaculate. You know, just get your rulers out and everything. It is something else. The framing is very, very precise. Some people compared him to Kubrick. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far for anyone really. But you know, PTA would be probably the closest to that. You know, of directors today. But I must say, you know, the framing is perfect, absolutely perfect, and just all the tracking shots and everything, and the quick pans and everything like that. It's just perfect. It really is. It's stunning. The style is so precise and so in tune. You know, as well the tone. You know, the tone is very particular, but it really is something else, and it's very, very consistent throughout. You know, Ray Fiennes, of course, stars, you know, main character, and you know, this film is basically more. Most of the film takes place in the 1930s. It's kind of narrated at times by some of the characters, and also this author, and yeah, basically it flashes back to this time, and 1930s it mainly takes place in, and yeah, this hotel, Grand Budapest, and Ray Fiennes, you know, his character is very. You know, he's quite high up in this hotel, and as well, you know, there's this character Zero that becomes his lobby boy, played by of course Tony Revolori, something like that. I can't pronounce the name. Apologies for that. But yeah, he's his lobby boy, and basically trains him up. And then, you know, most of the film they are together on this kind of on the run. You know, the main character Ralph Fiennes plays is, you know, kind of framed for murder, you could say, and basically from then they're on the run. It becomes, you know, a kind of adventure film, but it is a comedy. You know, there's no doubt that this is a comedy as well. You know, at times subtle, other times, you know, it is full on, and I think it really, for the most part, works perfectly in that sense. And you know, there's many sequences. The ski chase near the end, especially, there is very reminiscent of silent films. You know, some of the Keitons that I've seen, Chaplin and stuff like that. You know, that kind of the kind of feel, and there is stop motion in this film as well. And I think, you know, the models and everything that were used, the miniatures, were amazing. I absolutely loved how he incorporated that into the actual film. Masterfully crafted, and has a charm to it, you know, that just adds to the comedy, adds to the unique feel, and you know, that ski chase is really just thrilling, something else, exhilarating, and it's funny at the same time, and of course it, you know, it happens at a time in the film where, you know, the stakes are really high, but yes, you know, it's got a massive, you know, it's an ensemble cast, this film, and you know, I think pretty much everyone is good in this film. Good to great, you know, the performances by, of course, Ray Fiennes is stunning. I absolutely love him as an actor. You know, Schindler's List, one of the best performances of all time. There's no doubt about that. You know, that performance has been criticised for being too one-sided, but you know, you're completely missing the point if that's what people say. That performance is one of the best in film, and you know, he's just great in everything I've seen him in everything. He's great in the new Bond films as well, and I love him as an actor, and he's perfect in this film. You know, perfect choice, and because he brings that charm and that grace to the character, and you know, just wonderful, and you know, Adrien Brody as well. You've got Willem Dafoe. They're kind of the villains of the film, and the first time I saw it, I thought maybe their performances aren't quite perfect. You know, they're not quite. They're a bit over the top compared to everyone else in the film. Now I feel differently. I feel that it's kind of just, you know, it's kind of this innocent kind of comical characters. You know, that yes, Adrien Brody does go, you know, a bit over the top, but not in a way that hinders the tone at all. I think, you know, it fits the tone, it fits the scenes, and it doesn't go too overboard. And yeah, it's eccentric and it's different. But yes, you know, I don't flaw that now. And Jeff Goldblum is in this film, another one of my favourite actors. Bill Murray, he's great as well. Love Bill Murray. And F. Murray Abraham, of course, who has a vital role to the film. And yeah, it's a massive, massive cast of, some Harvey Keitel. It was great to see Harvey Keitel, in this film because he's not been in too much roles that are great this century. Really, his career, unfortunately, kind of fizzled out a bit. Late 90s. You could even say after Pulp Fiction, and it's a shame because he was before that just among my favourite actors, and of course he still is. But he just hasn't been in too much great stuff, and it's great that he gets a great role here. It's a very small role. He's not in it for too long, maybe 10 minutes, but great. And that prison breakout scene is stunning and masterful. I love that scene. The tension, the comedy, and just the sense of the thrill of the exhilaration of escaping is captured perfectly, and again, wonderfully filmed. I think this film is just stunning. The direction, maybe it's not for everyone, this film, and maybe not even Wes Anderson films in general will be. I definitely say this is one that should definitely be rewatched. But the Royal Tenenbaums, I connected with on every level straight away. But I guess some of his films would be a bit, they're a bit out there. Maybe not for everyone. But you can't say that he's not confident with what he's trying to say, because he really, every frame, every scene really is his own, and he knows what he wants to say, and maybe, as I say, not for everyone, but just really stunning what he does here. Just gets everything across visually alone. Such stunning visuals. I love the soundtrack. Really, really nostalgic. The way that it kind of brings back that time period, evokes that sense of time and place. The visuals, of course, as well, all the colour tones, and just the costumes as well. It got the awards for that and stuff, and wonderful. Everything is very much. You're aware of it, in a sense, but I don't think it goes too far, and I don't think it gets into any sort of pretentious levels. It just is, it reveals itself, all of itself visually, and it's there to fully, enjoy. You can just soak up the visuals, and the film has a really unique flow as well. It's constantly unfolds, and then you think, the ending scenes, which are very emotional, actually. You think, it's nearly over. It's a very short film, and it flows very, very quickly, and with ease, and it just it's over before you know it. And what a lovely little film, a wonderful little ride, and full of charm. Very eccentric at times, of course, and there's a couple of things that I will floor. The first 10 minutes or so, they didn't quite, they weren't quite as good as masterful really as the rest of the film was, and it just did. Tilda Swinton, once again, and still none that I can say I like her, and really I don't care for her performances. Once again here. That character, that's one of the things I picked up on last time. Didn't care for that, didn't care for the performance. And, there was just a couple of one or two moments, little imperfections in some of the comedy. But it's really early on, very early on. The rest of the film is really, it's hilarious, and it all works perfectly. Never really breaks the tone of the film at all. And yes, last time I thought, definitely the end in 20 minutes, there was very emotional moments in there, and even more so now that I've rewatched it, just full of emotion, and very, very moving, very touching. It's a light film, there's no doubt it's a light film at times, but it does have its moments that did move me towards the end in particular. I really cared for these characters. The energy to this film is really, really unique, and of course it's restrained at times as well in all the best ways, but the energy of it, and just the charm, and just the way that this film moves is wonderful. I think it's just masterful comedy for the most part. Action is stunning. The whole look of the film, the lens choice and everything. in the way that, you know, the kind of wide angle lenses on it, so the fisheye sort of look, it always works to a level where you feel the way, you know, the camera move, you feel everything. It's not by no means, you know, it's a film, you know, a highly subtle one in that sense, but it works perfectly, and it just adds to the actual dreamlike effect as well, and a very very distinct style that I can't fully describe, you know, in just a review, so I won't bother. But it's very very unique. You know, it's very aware. You know, you're aware of it, but it lulls you. It just draws you in to this kind of dreamlike feel at times, and full of nostalgia. It really is. You know, just very very nostalgic, very melancholic feel to the film, and just a lovely little film. You know, I just call it a nice film as well. It's got a very nice feel. You know, it makes me feel very very warm and at peace, and yeah, lovely little film, and actually, yeah, just a stunning film. Overall, I think the Grand Budapest Hotel is a great film. Definitely, you know, I would highly recommend it, and I would definitely say watch it twice. Although that was a one-off occasion for me. You know, it was a rarity that now I watch a film and you know, it jumps this much up, because I did like it. It was a good film. Well made and everything, had some striking elements, but overall I just didn't fully connect with it, but I did this time, and I absolutely loved it, really, from start to finish. You know, again, the first 10 minutes are not, you know, they have a couple of things that don't quite elevate it to a level, and you know, it's not a film that completely shatters me, you know, in a way that some of the films that I have seen does, but because it doesn't, you know, it is, you know, it is very light at times, and you know, it doesn't reach a level of throughout masterful elevation in that sense, but it does elevate at times, and it does escape. You know, it allows you to escape into this kind of fantastical feel, definitely dreamlike, definitely whimsical, and it's adventurous. You know, it's full of great classic, you know, action where you feel the action. You know, you feel the momentum of it. You know, it's very physical. The physicality of it's great, and also I loved the actual use of the miniatures and all the stop motion kind of stuff. Perfectly blended in with all the live action stuff, and it's just wonderful. Really wonderful film. Another really classic Wes Anderson film. Don't think it's quite a masterpiece. A couple of things here and there, and it doesn't quite reach that level, but it's not far off. You know, I think taking everything into account, I'd give this film a 97%, and that is a very high score for me. I love this film. You know, it's on my favourite films list. You know, not high, but any film, as I say, any film on that list is stunning. You know, this character of Mr. Gustava, you know, played by Ray Fiennes, you know, is really great. You know, I really felt for him. I love the relationship him and this Zero character have. You know, the lobby boy, and the way it develops over the film. I also love the romance between him and Saoirse Ronan, you know, the lobby boy, and you know, I really love that. Very very charming film. You know, I also loved all the side characters, and yeah, a couple ones I didn't love, but the main ones that are actually involved in the story, you know, all the Harvey Keitel moments as well. Prison escape is great. You know, it's masterful. You know, there's so many great sequences, and they all put together so wonderfully. The editing, stunning, and you know, I love the shootout near the end as well, and all these scenes have the comedy in it that works so well, really. You know, yes, the villains could have been even better, and there's a couple of things, yeah, that could have been even better to allow it to be a high score, but 97 is an extremely high score for me. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's a truly great film, and yeah, just one of the best of the year. You know, 2014 for sure. Another Wes Anderson film that I love. I've only seen 2 really all the way through, but yes, I really look forward to the rest of his films. And yes, you know, wonderful little film. Not as good as the Royal Tenenbaums, but that's hard to top. But yeah, you know, this will probably be quite high when I do my ranking of the Wes Andersons. Once I watch, you know, all his films, and I'll be doing, you know, be starting to do, you know, over time, maybe in, you know, every week or so, something like that. A Wes Anderson review, and of course, yeah, I look forward to it massively. Um, who knows? He could become one of my favourite modern directors because he's really wowed me so far with these two films, and yeah, it's just wonderful visual style that is really quite striking and thoroughly unique. Wonderful film and wonderful director. So yeah, thanks for watching my review of the Grand Budapest Hotel, and yes, highly recommend it. Stunning film. Thanks for watching.